and welcome to the Big Centre magazine. I'm Shanann Shea Calvin.
And I'm Lee Bannister.
Oh, you're back, are you?
Didn't notice.
Well, Des looked after things last week.
I know, was he any good?
He was actually.
Hey, we've got new titles.
Yeah, but this time we've been to a newsagent instead of a post office.
Yeah, anyway, coming on for you in the next hour, we'll be taking our weekly look at what's been happening here on the station.
But it's true. And we'll also have a roundup of some news and events taking place in our local communities. And as usual, we'll be reaching into the post bag to see what you've been talking to us about.
And I'll be sitting this side this week. Anyway, remember, you can... well, you're sitting that side. You can send us your comments on your favourite shows whenever you like, and we'll be reading out as many as we can a little later
I
on.
think this show's going to be really funny today.
I've enjoyed it already.
So, how do you get in touch with us? Well, on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, just do a search for @BigCenterTV, or you can email postbag@bigcentre.tv.
Or maybe you fancy sending a letter.
Shall we click?
Go on then.
Look, Des didn't really get it last week. I don't think he understood what he was doing, to be honest.
I'm saying nothing.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yay!
There it is. The Big Centre magazine. Big Centre TV. 14A Lowhall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. It's been a week, I forgot.
Just read it, it's there.
Oh no, go on, click it away
And
again.
just click again, and just like that.
Let's go.
Now, don't worry if you miss any of those, as we'll be clicking our fingers again at the end of the show.
Yeah, so that's the Big Centre magazine, where there's something different on every page.
Yeah. Right, let's kick off with...
Kick off. Is it time for the sports show?
Oh, I'm glad you're back.
Charming.
Anyway, we're going to start off with a look back at some highlights of the week here on Big Centre TV.
Oh yes, and this week we've revisited some classic nostalgia television, which includes the Long Lost Show. Now this programme explores how, why and where some of the finest programming ever made has disappeared.
Nice to see you. Nice. Well, this week on the Long Lost Shows show, we have a Brucey bonus, the channel director of Big Centre TV, Chris Perry. I should say it, he writes the scripts. It's good to see you.
He writes the scripts badly, that's
Oh,
what you have to
well,
say.
that's debatable. One thing you do really well is archive television and some radio as well, really. Kaleidoscope. Tell us what Kaleidoscope is first, then I'm going to ask you all sorts of questions about how you got involved and what it does.
Well, I mean, Kaleidoscope has three facets, really. I mean, to the viewers watching this channel now, it's the company that actually makes kind of Big Centre TV, and that is Kaleidoscope TV Limited. But it's got two other facets to it as well. It's got Kaleidoscope Publishing, which does the books about film and TV, and it's got the Kaleidoscope Archive, which keeps the kind of older archive stuff that you often see cropping up on look-back shows, a bit like this one, funnily enough.
And just a quick heads up that I'll be on this week's Long Lost Show talking about good old Saturday morning TV.
Oh, that is so you.
Of course it is.
Now, this week's edition of Extra Time was first shown in September amidst a cloud of controversy.
Yep, Respect Goes Both Ways, The Controversial World of Six-a-Side Football, is a documentary exploring the European Championships held in November 2014.
England, Scotland and Wales were three of the Europe's elite 24 nations who travelled to Montenegro looking to take home the title of European champions.
But it wouldn't be football without some controversy, would it?
Ooh.
Now, in this retrospective documentary, we catch up with the dismissed ex-England coach Mark Staines.
He talks about all the hurdles he had to deal with along the way. Let's take a look.
What went wrong for England?
It went wrong before we got out there. We was 5-1 to beat Turkey. I mean, everyone had us as outsiders, but for some reason, people are expecting us to walk the group, get through it easy, and that shows what people outside of England expected.
It didn't seem like they was listening.
I think Mark made the situation, bad for himself.
To me, he stabbed me in the back.
England were knocked out in 2013 in the quarter-finals by four-time champions Romania. A fresh front three of Staines, Thomas and Dark were brought in to oversee proceedings in the England camp. UKMA Chief Scout Jamie Leggett was appointed as interim head coach for Scotland. He was tasked with building on the single point the side had achieved against Austria after finishing bottom of Group D the previous year. Wales were in search of an elusive first point in European mini-football. Welshman Barry John would lead a new-look Welsh team, with only captain Rory Gary making the squad from last year. England's campaign started strongly with a win against Turkey. However, after losing their final two games, Staines' side were relying on other results to get them through the group stage.
Sticking with sport, we had some unmissable action from Sunday's Premier Ice Hockey League fixture between Telford Tigers and Sheffield Steel Dogs, which saw a resurgent Tigers side take on the Steel Dogs, who were fresh from their giant-killing escapades last week.
Yeah, the match produced goals galore. In fact, the most goals in any match so far this season. So buckle up for some high-octane viewing.
Yeah, but Brea's
on the tin.
And he gets the puck.
He's over the blue line.
He's on the blue line. Back to Miller. Miller walks in the centre, shoots. Ooh. And he just goes over the top of the crossbar. You saw Sedler's catching mitt come up in the air, but the puck was clearly over the top. But Brea walks in, spins, turns, shoots. Rebound comes down. Caught by Davis. Back to Brea.
There's nobody picking anybody
up. And at the end of the first period, it's the Telford Tigers 4, Sheffield Steel Dogs 0.
Now, this week we brought you a brand new, highly anticipated show full of laughs and crazy adventures. It's called Cool Beans Television, and it stars Chris Arnold and Boring Jim, and it guarantees to educate and entertain in equal measure.
Oh, on this episode, the boys have brought you a cocktail making masterclass, extreme challenges, an interview and live session with Proverb, and much more. Here's a quick preview.
Our next guest, Mr. Proverb. Woo! Proverb, I love you. Proverb, I love you. Proverb, we're on your children.
Check me out, riding bikes no-handed. No seat and no brakes, bro, standard. Live life on the edge, no health and safety. It'd take the whole Justice League to contain me.
Hey, Proverb, thank you very much for coming in.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well?
Yeah.
Now, first and foremost, do you choose your name because of your love of grammar?
No.
No.
I chose it, it was intended to be longhand for professional verbalizer.
Tell us a little bit about your style of music.
It's acoustic rap, mixing kind of the lyrical insight of hip-hop and kind of the softness of acoustics music, and yeah, try and add some humour and some honesty in there.
And remember that if you want to see the full episodes of any of the programmes that we mentioned and a whole lot more, then just log on to bigcentre.tv.
Yeah. Now for a look at what's been featured on the news this week.
Yep, and a Wolverhampton Council campaign to get empty houses back into use has seen over 1,000 homes reoccupied over the last 5 years.
Yep, Deputy Leader Peter Bilson spoke to Lindsay Smith.
The house behind me was empty back in 2006, we think, and it came under our scrutiny following it falling into a derelict state, and obviously us then wanting to contact the owners to take some action. We ultimately had to use CPO powers, compulsory purchase powers, in 2013. A developer came in and bought that with a commitment to refurbish and bring the property back into use, and it's since of course been sold to first-time buyers, so that's a great news story for them. They have a new property to live in, and obviously it is a property now, as you can see from the surrounding houses, that fits in very well within this neighbourhood. This is part of our empty property strategy, and it's about bringing properties which have either been abandoned or have fallen into decline in a variety of ways back into use so that people can live in them. And we've had some tremendous success over the last 5 years since we've introduced this policy, and have now been able to bring more than 1,000 properties back into use in this particular way.
Who will benefit from this programme?
The people who will benefit are obviously the people who are going to live there, but it's a benefit for the whole of the city, we think, because it will enable additional income to be generated, because people have somewhere to live, will be paying their local taxes, and that clearly benefits the wider economy as well. So that's good news all round.
What has the response been to the programme so far?
Very good. As I've said, we've brought now more than 1,000 properties back into use, 1,000 more properties which are actually being lived in, and that clearly is great news for the city of Wolverhampton.
Now, regular brisk walking may be more effective for weight loss than going to the gym, and that's according to a study by the London School of Economics.
Making that effort to find time for a walk is a chore for many of us, and for those in the deaf community actually. Maintaining an active lifestyle is that all the more difficult.
But now, those with hearing difficulties are taking a step in the right direction, as Loris Swinnerton reports.
taking steps towards a healthier lifestyle. It's not your average walk around the park, and for these people with hearing difficulties, it's an escape from the isolation they can suffer every day.
Because they're limited to what they can actually do. There's not much work for them that they can get involved with, so it's nice for them to get out of the house and give them something, you know, to look forward to every week, or every fortnight I should say. I think it's to get the deaf people out in the community and keep them safe around the park. Also it helps them with their health problems, and it's good exercise, and they get to mix with other people with the same disabilities themselves.
Once a fortnight, the deaf community gather here in West Park in Wolverhampton, and with the lead of Walking for Health volunteers, they do one lap around the park, and it's something they really benefit from. Why do you come along to the walks?
Because health important. Because of lots of old people just stay at home. They need to get out in the fresh air, walk. It's good for the health, for the heart. It's very important. Well, I enjoy walking. I like the fresh air, meeting different people. All the same, they're lovely.
It's the first of its kind in the country and offers over 40 different walks across Wolverhampton. But it not only benefits those with hearing difficulties.
It is important to get, you know, deaf people out in the community, and also other people who are hearing, to have a bit more deaf awareness around them, and, you know, give them the opportunity to mix with themselves. So it is really important to them.
And to encourage walkers to keep coming back, those involved fill in a record card, which can earn you a badge and even gift vouchers. But for those who come along, a quick walk, coffee and catch-up is all they need. Lois Finnerton for The Midland in Wolverhampton.
And the next walk is on the 18th of November. It's free to come along and anyone can take part.
Right, now you might remember that on last week's show we spoke about the survey that stated that Wolverhampton is the least prosperous city in the UK and that people from there are the most miserable. You don't agree, do you?
No, I don't. Well, this week we found out that Birmingham has come top of the list for the highest number of citizens with a piece of body art. Now, I think that is pretty impressive.
Okay. The region was well ahead of Norwich in second place and Glasgow in third.
And the survey was conducted by motorbike insurance brokers Carol Nash and even showed that the typical Brummie spends an average of £198 on each piece of work.
Nearly 200 quid.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Sweet. Well, Monica Plaha went along to Tattoo Parlour Birmingham Inc. to find out more about this latest obsession.
Oh.
Birmingham has been named as the tattoo capital of the UK, with almost half of adults having gone under the needle.
People come to get tattoos because it makes them feel great. It's a bit of an ego boost, just like every other modification, like a haircut, but this is just a permanent one. Some people just simply like it because it's an image that they like, and then others get it just to tell a bit of a story.
A total of 48% of people surveyed in the research say they had been inked, with most having between 11 to 15 different designs. So after that first tattoo, are we more inclined to have another?
Yes, just because of how good it makes you feel. They are pretty addictive. Other than the pain, yeah, afterwards you forget about the pain, and it's all about the artwork, really.
As more and more celebrities go under the needle, it seems that modern mainstream tattooing is being driven by our popular idols.
Yeah, and just generally when people post stuff on the internet, I suppose some stuff catch along, and then more and more people get like the same kind of thing, really. I would probably say the Beckham tattoo is quite big, the one with the angel on the back. I suppose that was because that was on TV as well, and probably the Cheryl Cole tattoo on the side of the hand has always been a bit of a big one as well.
But tattoos are not as permanent, with the likes of lasers to surgery and even injectable solutions.
Definitely less permanent, but it is still pretty permanent, yeah.
And have you seen an increase of laser removal for tattoos?
Yes, there has been an increase, just because of all the new stuff coming through that people can achieve and do, then they like to get rid of their stuff that wasn't so good.
The popularity of tattoos has increased over the past 70 years. Less than 10% of people born before 1950 have a tattoo, compared to 42% of those born in the 80s and 90s.
As the generations go on, more people get them, more people accept it. So I think it's just because the more people get them, the more people give up on trying to go against them, I think.
This is Monica Plaha in Birmingham for The Midland.
Now here's a great topic for this week's question. What do you think about body art? Do you have any tattoos of your own? If you do, what is it and why did you get it?
Or maybe you have some tattoo regrets.
Oh.
And if you're not a fan of body art at all, please do tell us why.
Yeah, because we want to hear your thoughts or see any photos that you might have, and just send them in to us by emailing postbag@bigcentre.tv, or you can comment on the Big Centre TV Facebook page.
Yeah, well, that's it for part one. We'll see you again in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back to the Big Centre magazine with me, Chanel Shay Calvin.
And me, Lee Bannister.
Okay, we're turning the page, and who do we find to tell us about what's on in the region?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's Des and Gary.
Dun, 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 dun.
Des and Gary.
Right, shall we get on?
Go on then.
Okay, first up, me. Have you ever wondered what the law of attraction was? Well, you won't have done that, will you?
Law of attraction?
Yeah, have you ever been practising the law of attraction and getting nowhere?
Is this like opposites attract?
I think so. Well, this workshop may be just the answer. It explains what it is, how it may help you to achieve your desired goals, and also help you with problems you may be experiencing. It's happening at the Orc Cafe, and it's a £5.
It's a £5. Yeah, sounds all right, doesn't it? Yeah. I have a problem I'm experiencing. I haven't got the £5. Can they help me? And taking place at the Arena Theatre in Wolverhampton at 7, Arena Collaborative Theatre Makers is an evening of new work from a group of emerging theatre practitioners who meet throughout the year to share work. It's a free open house, so you can just turn up. You don't need to book any tickets or pay a £5.
It's one of those where I think they try out new ideas all the time. There's 2 or 3 of those going around. We had some the other week. They were doing it at the Rep, where they write the bare bones and then they go down and try it out and then get people's responses, and you can see it sort of happening early days, and then a couple of years later you go back and there it is on the telly or the theatre.
That's good.
Yeah. At the New Alex, one of Britain's favourite comedians, Jim Davidson, OBE, takes to the road with his brand new show, Charlton Nil. I work with Jim. He's a lovely guy. He's an absolute blinder.
He is. He's brilliant. And sometimes if I'm working at match days, if I do stuff at Birmingham City, I've met him a couple of times down there when his team have been there, and they love him. The crowd love him. He comes out and he's a great bloke. He's lovely. He's lovely.
If nothing else, it's guaranteed to be an irreverent, outrageous and truthful evening.
Oh, you'll be truthful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is that no kids allowed?
I wouldn't have thought. Do you know the best thing he ever did was Cinderella, spelt with an S?
Yes, I saw
Absolutely brilliant that was. I don't know why you don't bring it back. Bring it back, Jim.
I'm surprised he's doing stuff back every. I thought he moved and lived in Dubai full time now. But I don't know. Anyway, over at the Kitchen Garden Cafe in King's Heath, the legend that is Steve Gibbons. Oh yes, has withstood the fads and fashions of the music business for over 4 decades, and he's got a huge repertoire, has he?
So he tells us.
And he's got all that experience and repertoire and the material to draw on. His set list is always fresh and surprising, drawing on the audience into a musical world with its own special history and culture. Absolutely brilliant.
Do you remember that song he played, Jazz? He does this really cool little song called Jazz. It's a fantastic title. He does that. Oh, it's brilliant, yeah. On Wednesday at the Town Hall, British Comedy Award-winning Nina Conti will create a new show each night by plucking inspiration from the audience. Now, you know who she is, don't you?
She's Tom Conti's
daughter.
She's a ventriloquist, isn't she?
She is.
She is.
Absolute genius.
Yes.
First saw her at the Glee Club a few years ago.
I can do ventriloquism.
Can you?
I can. There's my hands. They can't see how I'm controlling you, but there's my hands.
Got the go.
There we go.
Well, anyway, back to Nina. She stormed live at the Apollo, Russell Howard's Good News, and Sunday night at the London Palladium, all without moving her lips. With the help of Monkey and a bag of tricks, truly anything can happen in this unmissable improvised adventure of hilarious witchery.
So I think she's very good, but I've seen it, and not just her act, but a number of times. Why people find it funny that they get a member of the audience come up and put that
with the
on
mask
them,
on, yeah.
And it's a bit old hat now.
I think But what her strength is, she can change from female to male voice when she's doing the two different characters, which I think is brilliant.
that helps if you haven't got a boyfriend or girlfriend and you're on your own, I suppose, doesn't it? You can move from male to female voice. Yeah. The Lake at Barston over in Solihull has a good old-fashioned sing-along night with all the old wartime favourites played by the Land Girls. White Cliffs of Dover. Oh, those are the days.
Yeah.
Songs such as We'll Meet Again, Que Sera Sera, or Q Sera Sera, as you've written there. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag. It's a long way to Tipperary, Daisy Daisy, and many, many more.
Yeah, you remember all them, won't you?
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
OK, some music now, and Ella Eyre, one of the UK's most energetic and exhilarating live performers and Brit winner, is back out on tour in support of her hugely anticipated album Feline. She's at the O2 Academy, while Gospel Central, an outstanding group full of passion and fantastic musicianship and one of Birmingham's best kept secrets, are at the Jam House.
It's Desmond Gary, Desmond Gary. And of course, Desmond Gary will be back at the same time next week. And if you want even more What's On news, then you can join me for What's On Monday nights at 7.
OK, time for a look at what's going on in your community now. You're going to sing along to that bit too?
Maybe not.
OK. Now, if you know of something happening which could do with a little extra and free promotion, then why don't you get in touch with us?
And make sure you tell us in plenty of time, and we'll tell you how you can get in touch with us again a little later on.
Now, Robert Hazel has been in touch to let us know that he's taking the Locked In for Autism Charity Challenge 2015.
Yep, he's spending 50 hours in a box in the middle of the Tesco store in Dudley for the Caldwell Children's Charity, and he's looking for sponsors. The idea is that the box simulates the locked-in feeling of suffering with autism.
Yeah, Robert's challenge starts at 12 noon on Wednesday the 11th and finishes at 2 p.m. on Friday the 13th of November. And there are many ways in which you can show your support and, more importantly, donate some cash.
Yeah, there's a Just Giving page where you can donate online, or to find out how to text a donation. If you want to text a donation, just simply log on to www.justgiving.com/Robert Hazel Locked In.
Yeah. And now some news about the Cosley Comets, who are a marching band from Cosley, obviously.
Well done.
Now, they recently finished their annual competition season with a performance at the national finals for the British Youth Band Association.
Yeah, this was held at Telford United Football Club, and on an intense day of competition, they achieved an impressive 4th place on the day.
Yeah, the season commenced in June and saw the band take part in competitions around the country, including a winning performance at Stafford.
And the band also took part in the traditional Youth Band Association event at Himley Hall in Dudley, which forms part of Armed Forces Day. And they also competed at the Drum Corps UK event at Leicester.
Now, the Cosley Comets band are always on the lookout for new talent to join them, whether performing on the field or part of the instructional or support staff.
So if you're interested in joining, or you want to find out more, maybe you might even like to book them for an event, then just go to www.thecometsymb.co.uk.
You can also look them up on Facebook under the Comets Performance Ensemble, and if you'd like to see them in action, they're on both YouTube and Vimeo as the Comets PE.
And you can also drop them an email by using cometspe@yahoo.co.uk. And finally, on any other social media, just look up @CometsPE.
That's it, plenty of ways to get hold of. Now, it's been another successful year for Sandwell's Big Spring Clean, which has been running for 9 years now. More than 1,900 volunteers have taken part in over 114 events with close to 1,500 bags collected.
That's impressive. Now, the focus this year was to work with community events to help clean up the Sandwell Borough. Around 5.5 tonnes of fly tipping waste was removed and 83 community events were attended.
Ace Academy in Tipton carried out several litter picks in the community. A painting event took place at the Orchard School in Albury, and Vodafone volunteered 25 employees to take part in the Big Spring Clean.
Yeah, and for more information, then just go on to www.sandwell.gov.uk/Big big spring clean.
That's it, yeah. And finally, back to Coseley now with a good news story for some scouts.
Yeah, Cheryl Langford, a PCSO based at Sedgley Police Station, has helped a scout club win a much-needed grant for an internal redecoration project.
Yeah, Bayer Street Scouts in Coseley is a 102-year-old scout club with a proud history. Its current location is its third, and it's been based there for the last 40 years.
Yeah, the Scout Club is run by 12 Scout leaders who are all volunteers, and it caters for approximately 100 children aged between 6 to 18, 3 evenings a week.
Now, the building is also used by other local groups for meetings, and an elderly group hold their line dancing sessions there too.
Oh, now the building is owned by the council, who have given it to the Scouts Club on a long lease. The club are responsible for internal maintenance, while the council look after the external grounds, but the Scout Club are restricted from raising extra income for subletting the use of the building.
So, when Cheryl and her husband Neil, who were both scout leaders at the club, heard about the chance to get some project funding from the West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner, Cheryl nominated Bayer Street Scouts for an internal redecoration project.
At that point, the plaster was peeling off, it was damp, dark and dull. The garden had overgrown and there was no fence panel protection.
But then, as part of the redecoration project, the Community Payback Supervisor, Ian Hodgkins, deployed a group of 7 offenders who completely redecorated 2 floors, which included plastering any bare brick, making safe all the electrical trunking and painting all walls and woodwork.
Although it wasn't part of the agreement, Ian's team also decided to fix and paint the outside fence and cut away overgrown bramble to make the space more pleasant and safe for the kids to use.
And PCSO Cheryl Langford says that she's really proud of the building and the kids and their parents absolutely love it.
Oh, it's nice that is.
Yeah, good news.
So that's your community news for this week, but don't feel left out, because if there's something happening near to you, something that could use a little boost by being mentioned on the telly, then you know where we are. And of course, for community news, it's absolutely free.
A little boost. We'll try and get through as many as we can, and all that we ask is that you let us know in plenty of time.
Yep, so you can email postbag@bigcentre.tv or send us a message on social media by searching @BigCentre.tv.
Or you can send us some details in the post, and here we go again.
Yay!
I've missed that. The Big Centre magazine, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS11RL.
So we've got there for you.
Yeah.
Now, well, it's actually now time to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have this week's community news. Carl will be here with his cinema roundup too.
We'll be going all silly with our regular Tea Time Tiswas slot, and we'll be hearing from a certain Sir, who's also a big part of Tiswas back in the day.
Oh, I wonder who that might be.
Well, you'll have to join us in a couple of minutes to find out.
See you after this. Hello and welcome back to the Big Centre magazine with me, Chanel Shea Calvin.
And me, Lee Bannister.
Yeah, well, it's now time to look into the post bag.
Oh yes, let's have a look what we got this week. And oh yes, Dave Locke has been in touch with a question we're asked quite often actually. Dave asks, hi Big Centre TV. Hi. Is there any way I can add your channel to my Skybox and add channels list? Well, Dave, thanks for your message. As we said, it's a regular question that we get, and although unfortunately at the moment we're not available on Sky, I do know that it's something that we might be looking to do at some point in the future. Never fear though, you can still find us on Freeview Channel 8, Virgin Channel 159 all across the West Midlands, and if you're outside the area then you can pick us up online around the country on bigcentre.tv.
Nice. And Ken Banks sent us a message to say, just got back from the Elvis auction in Dudley. It was great. Not many people there, but it was nice to meet the Big Centre TV reporter. She was very nice and helpful. Thanks.
You don't get the lip.
Do it again. Oh, I love that. Sorry, back to your point. Well, we've discovered that was our very own Lindy Smith, so we'll pass that on to her, and we're glad that you had a good time.
Yeah. Now, Jennifer has let us know how much she's enjoying Get Up and Go. She says, Just watch this morning's episode. Brilliant. Get up and go. It's a great idea. There's nothing else like this on mainstream TV. Good selection of fitness instructors, different routines. I also love the opening and closing with the music. I was going to suggest it needs more publicity, but I noticed recently that you gave it a mention between the programmes. Brilliant. Keep up the good work, please. It would be good if it could be repeated at the weekends because people at work can't get to watch it during the day. Why don't you take this out on the road and out to communities and get public to join in, and then they can keep up with it on TV. I love everything about Big Centre TV. I tune in every day, always interesting programmes on that I like, and I can get to know what's going on in Walsall, Birmingham and the West Midlands. Good luck to you all from Jennifer. How about that?
Aww.
How cool was that?
That was really
What
nice.
a lovely message. Well, actually, what a good idea about taking Get Up and Go out on the road. Tell you what, we should pass that on to Julie, the programme's producer,
That's
shouldn't we?
a good idea.
Yeah, I actually really do think that she'll look into that if she can.
We should have a Get Up and Go like feature in this show.
We should do.
Just like exercising and dancing.
You can. Mind you, I need to lose some weight, so it's probably not a bad idea.
Well, that's your postbag for this week. But if you want to get in touch with us, then just simply email postbag@bigcentre.tv or just check us out on social media by searching @BigCentre TV. And if you fancy sending us a letter, then we'll give you the important details later in the programme. You're about to click your fingers.
Nearly. I don't know what would have happened if I did. Now it's time to turn another page of the Big Centre magazine.
Oh.
What have we got now?
Oh, and here comes our movie reviewer, Carl Jones, with a look at what's on at the cinema.
Well, there's plenty of choice on offer at our local cinemas right now, including this film starring a young Saoirse Ronan. I say young, but actually the girl who won our hearts in that film Atonement a few years back actually is not that young anymore. She's 21 and she's tipped for an Oscar for her performance in Brooklyn. She plays an Irish girl who sails over to America in the 1950s and finds romance and a new lust for life. But it's not long before her past starts catching up with her. It's got a fabulous cast, wonderful cinematography and an old-fashioned story about people. For me, a winning combination. Also new is a film called Burnt. This one stars Bradley Cooper as a chef who's wrecked his life with drugs and his diva-style behaviour. He's determined to redeem himself and he cleans up his act and heads for London. The question is, will he get the Michelin stars he's after or not? Well, that would be telling, but it certainly is an enjoyable journey. Also new this week is a film with a strong Birmingham connection. He Named Me Malala is a new documentary from Davis Guggenheim, who also brought us An Inconvenient Truth a few years back. This one tells the story of inspirational Pakistani schoolgirl Malala Yousafzai, who was shot in the head by the Taliban for being brave enough to speak out about education rights for girls. She became an adopted Brummie, of course, after being flown to the city's Queen Elizabeth Hospital for life-saving treatment, and it's a riveting watch. And of course, still top of the box office charts and breaking records right now is the new James Bond film Spectre. Daniel Craig trots around the globe from Mexico and Austria to Rome and Morocco on the hunt for the boss of a criminal organisation with links to his childhood. Something for everyone at our cinemas this week.
Well, thanks for that, Carl. Now let's have a look at one of the films that Carl mentioned.
Inspirational. Brave.
Someone you would look up to.
Both ordinary and extraordinary. She doesn't give up, no matter what. She's in acceptance of who she is. Malala means courageous.
Tonight, Malala remains in intensive care.
She was shot in the head for daring to suggest girls should go to school.
The film was very eye-opening, very emotional.
Malala was inspired by her father to fight for what she believed in.
She had this idea, and she put this idea into action.
She visited girls in different countries and said, don't give up. The film told me everybody deserves the right to have an education.
Who wants to become a doctor?
We need to take the step forward and make it so that everyone has the same rights.
A woman is more powerful than men.
She inspires us to stand up for ourselves.
I don't think anyone should be afraid to go to school. It's a basic right.
She's giving hope to people around the world.
I'm not a lone voice. I'm many. And our voices have grown louder and louder. One child. One teacher. One book. And one pen can change the world.
Can change the world. Can change the world. Can change the world.
is a moment when you have to choose whether to be silent or to stand up.
That looked really good, that
It did actually. I want to go and see that.
Yeah. Okay. It's now time for a drum roll.
A drum roll? Hey, Des didn't get, he didn't get this last week, did he?
He didn't.
Go on then.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yay. It's tea time, Tiswas.
Hey, oh yes. You know, I'm surprised Des didn't get that. He was on both Tiswas and the Swap Shop himself when he was in Sad Cafe, you know.
Sad what?
Don't you let him hear you say that.
Sorry, Des. Okay, I think that should be this week's lol moment.
Okay. So anyway, this is your chance to get a little bit of extra Tiswas in your life each week right here on the Big Centre magazine.
Yeah, each week you have 4 chances to catch up with the silliness that was Tiswas.
Oh, yes.
That is Saturday nights at 10, Sunday mornings at 10, Wednesday afternoons at 3 and Friday nights at 10:30.
Yes, and this week it is on Saturday night. Anyway, if you have any strong memories of Tiswas or any clips that you'd like to see again, if they exist, we can find them, we'll play them.
Yeah, plus if you've ever recorded any episodes of Tiswas yourself back in the day, then please get in touch with us and you could find yourself on the telly.
Certainly could. Now, I'm sure you know by now, but we'll tell you how to get in touch a little later on. And if you ever talk about Tiswas online, then don't forget our very own hashtag.
This is what they want.
Des didn't do it like that last week, did he?
I don't think we should talk about
Okay.
that. Okay, now it's time for our weekly A to Z of Tiswas. But stay tuned because straight afterwards we'll be hearing from a very special Knight of the Realm who is a large part of Tiswas.
Oh, yes. So while you practice your okays, that was a clue to who he was, and while I soothe my throat, we'll get the next in our A to Z. You don't know that, do you?
What the hell just happened?
Anyway,
today is the letter.
This is the alphabetical celebration of a children's show that rocked a nation from a Midlands television station. Here's the letter I, which brings us idols, such as Cozy Powell.
That wonderful work of judging the competition. Lovely to see you. Thanks very much indeed.
Graham Chapman.
Graham, you had the wonderful pleasure of being the lead in the film.
Yes.
Has this affected your lifestyle in any way?
No.
Could you be a bit more succinct than that, because we are tight for time? Thank you.
The Pretenders.
I saw Chrissy walk in this building with you.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm sure I saw her. Oh, it's up by the ears time. Hello, little girl. And who would you like to say hello to?
Sarah and Peter and
Jimmy and
Mike Oldfield.
12.5 million records sold all over the world.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Mike Oldfield from all of us at Virgin Records.
Yes, I mean,
it's for 12.5 million sales all over.
Oh no! There go the pies! There's the bucket of water! This is disgraceful! The pie pitching poltergeist! The welly...
Motorhead.
What does the bank man from say? We don't know. What does the bank man from say? Broke. I say. What's black and sweet through the jungle? We don't know. What's black and sweet through the jungle? Cousin's cola. Isn't water? What you get if you close the shelf next week?
The Who.
Welcome to Roger and to Kenny. What happened to you two? I mean, you weren't too bad when you were being flowered in Compost Corner.
We just got thrown into your cage.
You got thrown in the
We
cage?
thought your cage was supposed to be locked.
Supposed to be. What happened?
Escaped. The road crew were in there. They dragged us in there.
And they dragged you in and danced you down a bit wrong.
And Paul McCartney.
Having a wonderful Christmas time. It's great. No, simply have...
And now on Tiswas, some impersonations.
Chris, in decades to come, do you think people will be doing impersonations of us?
No, Sally, I don't say stupid. I think you deserve one of these.
It was here, 1 million years ago, that the Tiswas was first invented, way back in history, making people laugh through the ages.
What? Yeah, I've made a record. You've made a record? Well, they told me this, but I'm not quite sure because I wasn't there when I done it.
So we'll be able to hear the new Wurzel song?
Yeah, I should think so. It's the Crowman that could do it. It's up to them, you see. He's in charge.
What's wrong?
Are you all right, Love? It's lovely to be with you all again. I think Frank wants to tell you something.
I've just been for a job, and the manager told me to emigrate to Australia. But I didn't like the idea too much, and neither did Jessica. Did you, Jessica? And now I think I'll catch the next bus home. Anna, you're not getting on this bus after what that dog did. Anna, get him off, Well, I'll try and get rid of them. I'll try some neighbours. Here's Bill and Bobby.
Bill, how about a dog?
Is it black or white?
It's white, Bill.
Only black. Talk about love thy neighbour, but right now, here's the glums.
Run. Would you like a dog run, dearest?
No, if.
I know what you want, Ron. It's a sea dog, isn't it?
Did somebody call me?
Only Harold Wilson, the whole of the Labour parties and the trade unions.
And we'll have the next letter in the series around the same time next week here on Big Centre Magazine.
Right, as promised, even more Tiz was for you now.
Yeah, we recently spoke to Sir Lentworth George Henry.
Who?
You know, Lenny Henry.
Duh.
Yeah, well, we caught up with Lenny Henry when he was promoting his recently TV film, Danny and the Human Zoo, and we asked him about his memories of Tiswas.
Here's what he told us.
Tiswas was a great show for me. I started Tiswas in 1978, and I was terrible when I started Tiswas. I had no idea what my job was, and Chris Tarrant used to keep saying, well, just be around and learn how to do the show. It took me about a year and a half, 2 years. I nearly got sacked several times because I was just rubbish. And then it just clicked. End of 79, beginning of 80, it just clicked. And I suddenly realised that he wasn't asking me to do my acting. The thing that I did on New Faces, he didn't want that. He wanted me to be part of a team that could do anything on the show. Be funny, read something out, read a letter, link into something, do silly characters, take part in sketches. It was much more of a wide-ranging role than just standing up and going, hello, Betty. He didn't want that. And once I'd learnt that, suddenly I was off, but it took me a long time to learn. And there were so many great things. The cage, you know, loads of firemen and policemen being in the cage, drenching them. People, you know, pulling kids up by their ears. The kid who wanted to go for a wee in the middle of a live broadcast. You know, Chris Tarrant saying, this is what they want. You know, Spit the Dog. The Phantom Raspberry Blower. The Masked Poet, Sally James' legendary pop interviews, Phil Collins on Compost Corner. They were great days. And it's very interesting how many people have tried to replicate Tiswas, but it's very hard to do it the way we did it. And I think it was those people, you know, Chris Tarrant was very clever, and I think his vision for the programme, which is very laid back, very loose, but also the people he brought into it meant that it was very unique. And, you know, frankly, not many programmes nowadays would allow a young performer to grow and to get used to being on television in the way that Tarrant allowed me to grow and get used to being on live television. I had no idea what my job was. And then after a year or two, I learned what my job was. Be funny at all, by any means necessary. And that's what he wanted. But I had to kind of work to get there. And he was brilliant. And one of my favourite moments is Matthew Butler singing Bright Eyes, I have to say. And I know that I don't know how old he is now, he must be in his 40s now, but I know he's been doing some performances recently. And you should get him on your show, because he still sings Bright Eyes, burning like fire. He still sings it. And it was great. I remember the guy who used to sing Mule Train. He was very funny. And Frank Carson was genius.
Oh, wonderful. And thank you so much for Lenny Henry for talking to us recently there. Now, you know you mentioned little Matthew Butler, the rabbit boy?
Yeah, don't tell me. Is he a mate of yours?
Well, yeah, he is actually. I'll tell you what, he's going to be popping into the studio to see us at some point over the next few weeks.
Oh, wow, you'll have to get him to sing his song.
I'll tell you what.
Lenny Henry's impersonation was cool.
Well, he is, yeah. I don't think I could stop him, because what Lenny was talking about, there was a big car festival recently hosted by Chris Evans, and Matthew went up on stage and sang his song Bright Eyes in front of tens of thousands of people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'll talk to him about that when he comes in.
That would be really good. Now remember, there are 4 chances to catch our special compilation shows. Tiswas Pies again, here on Big Centre TV.
Count them with me, children. Saturday nights at 10, Sunday mornings at 10, Wednesday afternoons at 3, and Friday nights at 10:30. Four.
And a little bit extra. Right here on the Big Centre magazine, of course.
Oh, yes. Now, if you want to get in touch with us about Tiswas, send us a message in the usual way. And don't forget to use our hashtag, This is what they want.
See, talking of Tiswas, obviously it was like a Saturday morning programme. Unfortunately, I don't remember it.
Before your time.
It was. But, like, I was thinking of the shows that I remember. Like, it was like the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Dexter's. I was going to sing Inspector Gadget. Dexter's like laboratory.
SMTV.
Yes.
Ant and Dec, you remember that?
And was a Wonky Donkey on that?
He was, yes.
Wonky Donkey.
See, SMTV was very similar to what Tiswas became.
Oh, that actually is really funny.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's good. And also Dick and Dom in the Bungalow.
Yes. Oh, weren't you on that?
Yes, I was. And if you want to find out about that, we're talking about Saturday morning telly, and we're playing the clip of me on Dick and Dom in the Bungalow on the Long Lost Show, this week's Long Lost Show, Saturday night, and it's on again during the week. I think it's Tuesday as well, or on catch up.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, just before we go, here's a reminder of this week's question.
Yes. What do you think about body art? Do you have any tattoos of your own? And if you do, what is it? And why did you get it?
Or maybe you have tattoo regrets.
A lot of people do. And if you're not a fan of body art at all, then please do tell us why.
Yeah, as we want to know your thoughts, and you can comment on the Big Centre TV Facebook page or email your views to postbag@bigcentre.tv.
OK, now we've reached the back page. There's me prop of your Big Centre magazine for another week.
So why not give us a shout about your community news and information, and you can promote something going on local to you, and of course it's absolutely free.
Absolutely free, you don't have to pay for it. Now on social media we are at Big Centre TV. Chuck us an email to to post whose voice was that? To postbag@bigcentre.tv.
And quickly, our postal address is the Big Centre magazine, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS11RL.
That was so forceful.
It was.
RL.
Dush.
Click it away.
Go on. So yeah, and we'll both see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.